Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a day in the market. You got all-time highs. You got Nvidia hitting a $3 trillion market cap, so it joins that rare club. All kinds of stuff happening. We're going to get into it. A lot of stuff, and some things you might have missed after the market opened up and stuff that actually, especially one thing that just poured jet fuel on this market probably around maybe 11 o'clock, I believe it was, when it got announced, and that put all kinds of speculation out there for us, and so the market just went, whoo, see you later, right, to all-time highs on the Qs, the SPY, and so yeah, that one, even small caps actually participated, and I'll show you a chart when you can clearly see like what the institutions have been doing starting April 1st, and I'll tell you why they started doing that as well, because I know you've seen there's a report saying they're selling, they're doing all this stuff. Well, they were definitely selling a lot of stuff, and some stuff they were not selling, right? And so of course we did have the data come out this morning, some in pre-market, some after the bell opened, and you can see this is a prime example where the market, remember, they use the news to move the market where they want to move it. That's just the way it is. It's all about liquidity, movements, and all that good stuff. And so they saw that news come out this morning on the jobs data, and you're like, boom, hook onto that. Forget the other stuff that comes out after market, which came in actually hot, right? And so once again, what's bad for the economy, good for the market. It's still that way, okay? Now, getting into the data, as you can see right here, we're starting off with payrolls come in softer than usual, 152K versus 175K, and they said this is wonderful. Manufacturing got the biggest hit on that, of course. Yields drop, boom, market starts to take off. But then what's funny is after the market opened up, ISM services PMI came in much harder than expected, and the market, did come down some at that moment, but just proceeded to move back up, completely ignore it. Let's just clamp onto the labor, not the services PMI, which of course services are 70% of our economy, but it did show I believe it was the employment was still soft. And so they said, that's great, let's go. And of course yields, you can see this, one red candle after another right here. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row moving down. And when we look at this right here a little more closely, again, that's like almost 8% move down, which is big, right? And this is the problem, which of course IWM finally reacted the correct way today and started moving up. But from a technical standpoint, remember, what do you got there? You got a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low coming into this daily fair value gap. So expect a reaction off of this, at least to stall it from falling farther or to bounce back up here. And we actually look at a really more short term. Maybe we're forming a different channel here. But if you look on this one right here, let's just draw this in and see if this is going to happen. Because if that comes down, bounces, it'll bounce right in that daily fair value gap. And if this starts to move back up into that channel, then of course that's going to be bad for small caps. And then of course it's not even going to really affect mega caps or anything like that. Because I showed you yesterday, they've been just pouring into the mega caps because they make money when the yields are up higher and stuff like that. Now, of course, what else happens? As soon as you see the 10-year dropping like this and you get soft data, oh look, September, we're going to have a rate cut now, right? And so they had taken this one out, and all of a sudden they're like, nope. And so they moved it up to around 55% now. They're going to have a rate cut. And you can see, May 28th, it was only 41%. So that's moved up. And to stay the same, it was 53% May 28th. Now that's down to 35%. So, of course, the market loves that, right? So it plays this game back and forth, projecting this out. But what happened after the market opened and pulled back some was Bank of Canada, the first G7 country out there, cut rates today, right? This was supposed to be happening. They thought it was going to happen, and it did happen. What else is being projected? They think now Bank of England is going to do the same thing on their next meeting. So all of a sudden you'll have two G7 countries, and of course what does that do? They go, well, America's got to be right behind them, right? And I'm not familiar with Canada's or England's inflation fight right now. I don't know if they've got theirs well under control, if it's lower than ours, whatever. And I'll actually put something in Saturday's video to show you something that has to do with whichever side you're picking on this presidential race right here. I'll show you something that maybe will clear something up for you that's definitely not true. I'll just put it that way to you. I'll kind of show you why it's not true. And of course, after all this happened, you can see we ended up going up to set all-time new highs. We actually closed right above that really, really long-term channel right there. We'll see if we can hold it tomorrow. So now we are in price discovery once again. I know people were trying to short this market all day and just getting wrecked. Here was that midline we were trying to get above right there a long time ago, it seemed like, right? Now we're not even close to it, but let's see if maybe we can break back above it, because remember, you got Tom Lee's prediction. A lot of people are predicting probably 54, 5,500, somewhere in that range, right before maybe you get to see a sell-off, because remember, September is like the worst month of the year. And so we'll see if that happens or not. When you go over and you look, we'll pull up the RSI, we'll pull up the MACD and stuff, and we actually did get a bullish MACD cross. We're starting to get a bullish MACD cross today, so that's absolutely good for the market. You can see we're nowhere near overbought or anything like that, even after 1, 2, 3, 4 green days right there, which most of them were small. But when you go to the Qs, once again, all-time highs. This one right here actually did close above that midline. Remember, we kept trying to like get above it and get above it, and we just could not. So we'll see, because that can usually start pulling even more momentum in, even though today was a very big day to digest for sure. But again, this is in price discovery. And when we get there, we've set, I don't know how many all-time highs in the last 12 months. But, you know, every time we keep eclipsing one, maybe we trade sideways and go higher. And again, you normally will see, it can take a long time to retest where the previous all-time high was. Sometimes the media, like this one right here, took a long time to come back over, right? Like 5 months to retest, and then we took off. All right. What's really crazy about this market, we were discussing this in the Discord, is we were in fear this morning on the fear and greed index, and here we are setting all-time new highs. So of course it's in neutral now. I don't know how rare that is to set an all-time new high, but when you look at what makes up this fear and greed index, you understand why. All right, because breadth has been absolutely horrific. The concentration in these mega caps is obviously at all-time highs. But when you look, today was one of those days where breadth was really good. Many different sectors, even small caps decided to participate. Biotech, fintech, right? And so the only thing that was red was real estate, energy, consumer discretionary, and utilities. That's the defensive stuff, okay? And so that's not a surprise. That usually happens. QQEW up 1.4% today at one time. That's, you know, we haven't seen that thing do anything in quite a while, it feels like. And so, you know, RSP, same thing. You could wait ETF for the SPY. You know, wasn't up as much because you got energy and a lot of sectors down on the SPY. But again, you know, I showed you yesterday where they've been loading into, the Qs, all right? Nvidia, of course, new all-time high, $3 trillion market cap as of today. We'll see if that holds. But again, this one, I mean, unbelievable how much market cap this has gained in just like 10 trading days. It's something you rarely see, something you will always remember. Again, the RSI does not mean anything when it comes to Nvidia. It can stay overbought for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. And so, you know, if you look at that and go, oh yeah, it's going to come down, it's like, maybe, you know, but again, it's still just kind of in this upward channel, and it's all about what? The split. So on Friday when the market closes, you will see where it will show whatever 10 shares for every one you have, and then on Monday, that's when it'll open up at the new price. And so just be aware of that so you don't freak out. But it's the close of Friday where this will actually take place and stuff. But when you look, and a lot of people have, you know, 1,300 they're thinking before the split could happen. And so that's what we got to wait and see. You would think there would be some kind of consolidation after this move today. But, you know, chips were extremely hot with ASML and Taiwan Semiconductors starting to really push everything up. That's why chips were just on fire today. You say AMD, you know, I talked about this thing needs a bounce right here, and it's in a perfect spot for the bounce right there. Okay, this area right here of interest, it has bounced many times or been resistance for it. Okay, so it got a nice bounce today. We go to the hourly, you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, bounce, bounce, resistance, resistance, bounce. And so again, this one needed it, it got it. Like I said, the other, really it was ASML and Taiwan Semiconductors that pulled all of these up right here. That's what happened. So it seemed like chips are starting to catch fire again. And when you look on like a short-term hourly deal here, you can see maybe a you know, a downward trending channel or a falling channel, which normally results in a breakout, right? So we'll see if this right here is going to result in a breakout up. A lot of price prediction between 177 and 180 on this one, which put it, you know, somewhere near the top of that channel right there, as you can see right there. If I pull it down a little bit and go to the daily, and so that would make sense. You look to the left, there's actually a daily fair value gap right there for the trace right back into, which would be at the top of that channel. That's nice confluence right there. Nice pocket of liquidity. So we'll see if this one continues to move up. Apple, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this one because obviously it's been just moving up, but it hit that trend line that started in 2023, which was support, now resistance, and that's where it rejected off of today. It actually had a report I saw where it had like the most premium coming in around 2 o'clock today. It actually had that. So again, this has been a popular one. 199.92, I believe, is like the all-time high. And so it's got to get through this trend line, or it can literally just grind up on it. Okay, so we'll see if that's what happens. Now, we were talking about this in the Discord this morning. I was telling you, this chart clearly shows right here what happened when yields started popping up. The large money just did what? They started rotating into the mega caps, right? That's why the Qs, you see higher highs on the Qs right there. You see lower highs on IWM, okay? And if you look to the left, normally they kind of the direction, at least, maybe not the moves, but the directions normally in about the same direction as you've seen going back to 2021. And so that deviation right there, it's rare when it happens, but you can see what they were doing, right? They were playing it safe, and they came out of it because a lot of people were predicting the 10-year yield to go to 5%. Well, small caps are not the place to be if that is the case. So we'll see, and I'm gonna look at this, keep revisiting this every week to see if we get that new high on IWM. Now, the dollar is another one. If it weakens, you will see, obviously that's good for stocks, but you're hearing people saying it broke trend, right? Well, that's a long-term trend line going back to 2021, okay? It has not broke that trend, you can see it. They're talking about this trend line from the beginning of 2024 right here. It has broken that one, but just keep in mind, right below it is a much longer term trend line. And so it could get that bounce. If it gets that bounce right there, and again, you see 10-year yields start to move back up as well, then that is going to be good for at least small caps and transportations. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, you see earnings here. I know Lulu just reported and got a really green candle, but you got NEO, Big Lots, DocuSign, and what else we got here? That's about it, really. Then we look at data tomorrow, and you got unemployment claims. So we'll see if people are finally losing their jobs the way the economy and market want them to lose their jobs, at least the Fed, that is. And of course, if it comes in higher than what's expected, right, that's bad news for the economy. So the yields should drop more. The market should say, woo, this is great. Keep it going, baby. But if it comes in way under, right, I think that's what happened last week, right? And you could see yields pop up instead of going down, and see at least small caps and transportations take a hit. Qs are kind of on their own path right now, kind of doing what they want to do, just because there's so much money flowing into the chip stocks, and Apple is roaring. So you have Apple, Nvidia, and Microsoft moving up. That's a tough train to stop. Tesla, you can see, is hot garbage. And it didn't do anything. I mean, I think it was like 0.10% green or something. Maybe at the end of the day, most of the day it was just red, not doing anything. So, I don't know if it's basically just waiting out for this pay package to get approved by the shareholders. Maybe that's what it is. It's crazy that would be a catalyst, but hey, maybe that's what it is. But it's like I said a long time ago, Nvidia is definitely taking Tesla's thunder. There's just no ifs, ands, buts about it, because it has the crazy premiums now that Tesla used to have, right? And just chips in general, and a lot more growth and bigger margins and all that good stuff. So anyway, just want to put that out there to you. Let me know how your day went and stuff. It was definitely a day you wanted to just look at your portfolio and say, hey, good day in the portfolio, right? And you do not want to try to short today. So we'll see how much of this we hold on to tomorrow and going into Friday. And so please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you tomorrow.